we're happy to present our new speaker with a very interesting lecture about Cenozoic plants from Tibet. Please.
Okay, so good evening and good afternoon, dear colleague. It's a pleasure to share my recent work with all of the colleagues, particularly the colleague from the Russia. Today I will talking about the all Cenozoic plant from Tibet, recent discover and understanding and significant. We did recent decades from the Tibetan. And first, let's see the outline of my talk. As all we know, Tibetan plateau is the highest and the topest plateau from in the world. Its formation and most significant geological event of the Cenozoic. Since the forming the Tibetan, it's deeply impacted the topograph and atmospherically change as a biodiversity in both Asia and around the world. So Tibetan plateau is a hard study. The Tibetan plateau is a hard topic in the geological field, and also in geological field is also the biological field. But only a few research concentrate on Cenozoic plateau from the Tibetan. Maybe the earliest study is from the India. India people, how to say pronounce is Pura. His PhD thesis studies the Cenozoic plant actually is corollary from the Tibetan plateau. It's published. It's his doctor thesis. They published several species. They use this fossil. They use this fossil reconstruct the high elevation. Maybe this is the earliest study from the Cenozoic plant from the Tibetan. In China, Chinese scientists did a lot of research into the Tibetan plateau. In last century, since in 1917 to 1919, we organized we called the first Tibetan exploitation into the Tibetan. We did a lot of research. All these scientists and they published series the books including the geology, biology, and sedimental, and also paleobotany. This is about the in first Tibetan plateau expedition. There are several botanical works about the 10 papers published from the Tibetan about Tibetan fossils. This is all of this is published in Chinese, and maybe the most important one is a fossil called the oak fossil. We call the Crocus semicopifolia, found from the Paleocene sedimental of the Xishuangbanna mountain. This fossil is found from the 5,800 meters. So Professor Xi Ren combined with this fossil, I think Professor Xi Ren think his modern reality is distributed in the 2,800 meters forest. So Professor Xi Ren proposed Xishuangbanna, which is one of the Himalaya peaks, uplift 3,000 meters since the later Paleocene. This is maybe the first paper quantitatively measure the height uplift height of the Tibetan plateau. So this is it's very important. Is a very important papers from the Cenozoic plant study of the last century. So in 1917s, Chinese government organized the second scientific expedition on Tibetan plateau. Then all group joined this expedition, and we did a lot of the field work around the Tibetan plateau. And so Tibetan plateau is a large area, but we have the good Cenozoic sediment. We find about the 9 fossil floors from the Tibetan plateau from different geological ages. This is some photographs. We collect fossil from the Tibetans, from the Tibetan, and the most difficult things is high elevation. Is impact the most people from you get the headed at the 4,000 meters. Even sometimes we have to get to the 5,000 meters. But anyway, we collect the lot of the fossil from the Tibetan. The recent 10 years, I think we get the 5,000 piece of the fossil from the Tibetan plateau, and some also according the highest peak from the Tibetan. As I enjoyed the field work very much. As Bob Spencer said, you can leave the Tibetan, but the Tibetan never leaves you. So with this fossil, we did several researches, and recently we calculated is about the nearly 300 taxon, which belong to 67 families and 124 genera recorded from the Tibetan, and among of them, 134 is identified to the species levels, and so among of them, 16.3 is new species, but more than 17% is published after the 2010. So this is, I think, is a significant progress from the all group, and we get the more understand about the biodiversity and floristic assemblage from the Tibetan. And the most dominant species is Betulaceae and Salixaceae and Rosaceae, Fagaceae. So we have the quite density of the flora. This is some important the fossils. I just picked some of them, and this is the pine we identified as Tibetan with Sabalitis Tibetan ancestors. This is found from the 4,007 meters fossil locality, and several other fossils. Some of fossils is the earliest record from its family and from its genre. So we proposed maybe Tibetan plateau is a handstream of the plant diversity in China, even in the whole Asia. In the whole Asia. Then we find there's fossils from at the Paleogene of the Tibetan. The fossil is get the more close relationship with the north hemisphere. let's see there are several. Let's give you several examples. The first, the fossil we call the Atlantus. Atlantus, earliest fossil record is from the India. It's about later Cretaceous and earlier Paleocene. It's wood fossil, but this fossil identified by Wooler and Manchester and Bath. I think this fossil is quite well. I'm pretty quite sure it's belonging to Atlantis. Then in China, well, in Tibetan we find the Atlantis from the Bangor. That's the geological age is 14.7 million years old. So we proposed maybe the Atlantis is out of the India into the Tibetan, then from Tibetan dispersed to the other place of the Russia, other place of the Asia and even the America. A second line of the fossil, first is we call the Cenozoic, and second is Lagocarpus, and the third is Bromiphidium. And there's three fossils. It's also found from the America and found from the Germany and the Mesa. So Cenozoic is widely distributed in America and in Asia, and also well, this is we first found from the Tibetan, and Lagocarpus is also found from the Green River sedimental, but is also found from China. So we proposed maybe some groups. Well, there's from second line the fossil Cenozoic, Lagocarpus, and Bromiphidium. There's three groups. The earliest fossil record is from the North America. So we proposed maybe for this group, they original from the America through the land distance, maybe Atlantic landscapes, land bridge dispersal through this land bridge and into the Tibetan. And other groups maybe have the closer relationship with Africa. So we proposed at Paleocene, Tibetan maybe as a crossroad of the floristic change in the North Hemisphere have the more close relationship with the other place of the Asia. And now I give you other example that get the more close relationship. Was this is Bohemia. Modern Bohemia is widely distributed in the pan-tropical, and 18% species is from America, but best molecular study is oldest group is from the Africa. So we proposed maybe Bohemia is originated from the Africa, then through the Tibetan, through the India plate that transferred from the India and into the Tibetan. Then from the Tibetan, then disposal to the America and the other place. So this is maybe Tibetan plateau at that time plays an important role for the floristic change around around the world. And this is a kind of the oak. We call the ipai oak. It's for this kind of oak have the closer relation. Its modern reality is belonging to the Quercus section ilex. We know ilex is Mediterranean modern oaks. So the oldest fossil for this kind of for this group of the oak is found from the Tibetan. It's earlier Oligocene. So integrated with the molecular work, we proposed Quercus section ilex maybe originate from the Tibetan. This means north Hundan Mountain region, then through the long distance dispersal to Mediterranean region, and the other place of the Asia. So best the fossil record, we compile the fossil record and what we find from the Tibetan. So we think Tibetan did play a crossroad for the floristic change in the Cenozoic. And now we're talking about the high paleo elevation construction. So this is the fossil locality we found from the Kajin. It's northwest Tibetan. It's Kajin village. It's a modern elevation. Modern elevation is nearly 4,000. Then we find the two lines of the fossil from the Kajin village. The first line, low part is kind of the even green and deciduous broadleaf mixed forest. Then we use the we use clamp methods and calculated its paleo elevation. It's calculated the paleo elevation. Reconstructor is paleo elevation. It is a low part. We based on reconstruction. The paleo elevation is 3,000. Its geological age is about the 75 million years old, and upland is paleo elevation is about 3,900 meters. The geological age is 13 million years old. So we propose that about the 1 million years old. So Tibetan plateau, northwest Tibetan plateau, uplift about the 1,000 meters. So this is we use a fossil, did some paleoclimatic reconstruction. Then we also so use this fossil we find from the Tibetan plateau and the Liu Bo formation is Luen Polar Basin. Geological age is 39 million years old. This is the huge the pine leaf about the 1 meters. So since we only have this one piece of the fossil, so we cannot use clamp methods to reconstruct paleo elevation. Then we try to find the modern Japan
see the their distribution limitations, and see what is the climatic factor control that dispersion. So the pine in general is distributed in the tropical, but is also some pine can grow in the temperate. So best these papers there's a proposed maybe 14 degrees centigrade is a limitation for the pine tree distribution. So it's the coldest months. It's not if the coldest months temperature, mean temperature is below the 5.2 degrees centigrade, the pine tree cannot growing, cannot growing. So we use this limitation and integrated with modeling. We proposed the 13 different situation and compile with reference the lowest temperature and modified the different situation. Then we proposed at that time Tibetan plateau. Maybe it's kind of have the central Tibetan plateau. Maybe have the kind of the value we call it the central value. At the bottom of the value, the temperature. No, sorry, the elevation. The elevation is about the 2,700 meters, and the mountain of the value maybe the 4,000. In the north is Gandhis mountain. In the south is Chantan mountains. So have the quite different topography in the Tibetan at that time. And the other fossil locality we use for reconstruct the elevation is from the Jiangnan flora. From the Jiangnan flora, we find the I missed the one of the PPT. We find the 4,000. We find of the 4,000 fossil locality. We use the fossil taxons, about the fossil taxons from the Jiangnan flora. We paleo elevation reconstruction from the Jiangnan flora. Jiangnan flora is a geological age is earlier to the Middle Eocene. So from that flora the paleo reconstruction we think is 1,500 the meters, and so it's at the maybe the earliest stage of the central values. Now I will introduce the different flora or from the different flora from the different geological ages of the Tibetan. The first is the Liuqi flora. Liuqi flora is a geological age is 15.4 million years old, and from this flora we find the pine. We find the pine found from the Meritase, find some ficus, several Bohemia, several tropical elements. So we think from here it's kind of the tropical flora from the Jiangnan flora, and its position is in Gandhis in the foot of the Gandhis in the foot of the Gandhis mountains, and maybe it's
it's a tropical forest at that time. The second flora I'm going to talking is a Jiangnan flora. This is fossil sample from the Jiangnan flora. It's we identified the 17 planters fossil taxon from the Jiangnan flora. It's from that flora element, we think it's kind of the tropical, subtropical. Its modern reality is most from the tropical and the subtropical the forest. So we proposed maybe the Jiangnan flora is it's kind of the humid subtropical ecosystem. So we called the Shangri-La type the flora. And then let's talking about the flora from the Lun Polar. The Lun Polar flora is some we from here we find the big pan the pine tree flora, and find the Cenozoic. So in the printer I talked the paleo elevation from here we reconstruct is about the 2,700 meters, and the geological age here it's about 39 million years old. So here it's also some tropical subtropical vegetation as well. We also find some the fishes, insects from this flora as well. And in the really some locality of the Jiangnan, we find a lot of the grasses, the fossil, also the Philetus the fossil, and also have the span fossil. So span fossil found means the forest is from the density forest to the open forest. We also collect the mammal fossil data. So we find a lot of the mammal fossil from this region. So we proposed at that time the forest in Tibetan is start from the density forest, transferred from the open forest, and this is I talked before. This is the fossil we found from the Mankan, the Kajin flora, and the low part as talked is dominator is the Betula, and the Quercus section of Xishuangbanna. This is kind of the dominant sediment. So we think at that time, this flora is even green and broadleaf and mixed broadleaf for the forest. And so in this flora we find the Bramiphilia and several other Silga and several other the taxon from this flora. And so let's move to the lamellin flora. Lamellin flora is in the Tibetan we call it the Obdui village, and so from this flora is most element is decidual broadleaf forest. We have the two lines of the flora. The first line is decidual broadleaf forest. The upper line is dominated by the alpine oaks. So we proposed maybe at the two line have the floristic have the vegetation changing from the decidual forest to the squirrel folio squarely leaf oak forest. Then let's move to the Zada flora from the Tibetan. This geological is 3 million years. Is 3 million years old. It's now that's from the fossil leaf we can tell this is shrubs, not tree. It's get to the similar to the it's a modern vegetation nearby, and the salmon flora is also found from the Xinjiang. Is of shrubs, and the pollen sand bridge also share there is dominant element. It's kind of the deciduous shrubs, and so several elements from the central, which is distributed from the Central Asia. So the summary to the fossil sand bridge recently we found from the Tibetan, we can tell Tibetan floristic have the have the 5 different stage. At the first stage, they have the tropical forest. The second stage, they have the subtropical forest. Then have the temperate the forest. Then becoming to the since the uplift Tibetan becoming to the dry and the shrub forest. So yeah, that's floristic change is quite it's called evolution with topograph changing as well. You see, since at the Paleocene, there's a Paleocene, and the Paleogene, we have the low elevation part, and they have the central value. So we have the tropical and the subtropical vegetation, and then since the forming of the Tibetan plateau, then we have at the Miocene, since the forming of the Tibetan plateau. So but at that time, maybe Himalaya mountain is not get to the highest, stop the moisture into the Tibetan plateau. At that time, we still have the decidual forest, and get to the Paleocene, Tibetan, Himalaya peak, get to the highest, reaching to its modern elevation. So it stops the moisture into the Tibetan. So floristic change into the dry elevation. That is floristic change from the Tibetan. So I have some questions. Well, I want to discuss with colleague, and also try to find the answer. So since we find the lot of the similar element from the North Hemisphere, from the America, from the European. So they have definitely have the floristic. They can have the floristic element can change at that time. But how they make this floristic change, and if through the land bridge, they must lead to dispersal through the northwest Asia or Central Asia, and so they must lead moisture element. So I think we need to find the more the fossil from the Central Asia, from the north, maybe from Central Asia, from the northwest China, to propose to survive this problem. But from the northwest China, we do have some Paleocene flora. The do from the Altai is from the Xinjiang. They do have the moisture flora. They have the kind of the Betula dominated flora, but also at that time maybe we called the Ptolemy, maybe the ancient Mediterranean Sea is not totally distinct from the Central Asia. So this could be the reason they can make the floristic change at that time. And the other issues is confuse me is a fossil. The oldest Chinese the paleobotanist identified is eucalyptus. Or as we know, eucalyptus is concentrated. Eucalyptus is concentrated in the Australia and the South Hemisphere. If it is really eucalyptus, and then we need to ask the question how and when then dispersed to the Tibetan. So I hope we can find the more information, find the good fossil to survive this problem. So I think my supervisor, Professor Wu Zhenyi, they think the geological topographer and biological, they always co-evolution. So from the Tibetan, we do think this is very true. We have the we all geological density and biological density always co-evolution. Thank you. I think thank you for dear colleague. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you very much for your interesting lecture. And now it's time for questions. If anybody want to ask question, just raise the hand, or if you prefer, write in the chat. Well, so far I see a question in the chat.
Yes.
Are phytolaims cuticles preserved on your specimens, or only imprints?
Very few with cuticles. That is one of the problem we have.
I see.
But we do have some with the cuticles, and the cuticle from the maybe the younger flora. May we have some the fossils with the cuticles.
Thank you. Well, how it was to work to collect fossil plants at such a high elevation?
Well, it's really well, actually it's well, first you need to get the good information, then since geological the good if we follow with a good geological geologist the team, then we find the fossil locality. And the most difficult things is in the high elevation region. You see, is not you cannot get enough oxygen. That is the biggest problem. But then you let go the fossil locality, well, many times, and working very hard. So we all team just keep working in the from the Tibetan, try very hard to get that fossil. And Alex working with us the once, maybe he have some experience as well. He collected some good fossil for us.
Thank you. And I see one more question in the chat.
Okay.
Is it interesting that Tibetan Cerdelospermum fruits with only one wings resemble more the typical North American ones, while the European ones have a second meaner wind? Do you suppose that means an early breeding crossing?
We proposed you see, we do find I think we have the fossils with the two veins from the Tibetan, and yes, I mean earliest Berlin Brogy cross. Yes, I think so. Yes, I think is the oldest Cenozoic. Cenozoic is from the we all fossil is more similar with the American one.
And I see one more addition to this very nice lecture. Podocarpium is known only from Europe and Asia, so maybe North America was not involved in its biogeographic history.
Yeah. Podocarpium is different story. I did not mention it in detail with the lecture. So Professor Jing from the Xishuangbanna University, they found the podocarpiums from the southern China. But we also found from the Tibetan. Tibetan I did not put in this PPT. I did not put in this PPT. So as we think for the podocarpium is disposal maybe is the earliest the fossil record is from the south from the South China. Then it's a northern deposit to the Tibetan. Then maybe from the other place, then disposed from the European. No, Podocarpus. No, Podocarpus is no fossil record from the America.
Thank you, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
It seems no, your speakers indeed do not work.
Okay.
So write if you want to answer. Well, more questions? Well, if we indeed do not have more questions, then we should tell once more thanks again for your interesting and beautiful illustrated lecture. It was our pleasure to attend.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Zhe-Kun.
Sorry. We have the yes. My talk only focused on the pollen flora, not only on the macrofossil, not the pollen flora, but we do have somebody working on the pollen. Maybe we can invent some expert, maybe all from all group, the Liu Jia can talking about the pollen from this topic. Okay?
Yes.
Then, if no question, thank you for invitation to give this opportunity, share my work with all of you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for very interesting.
Thank you very much.
So bye-bye. Hope I can meet colleagues in China or somewhere in the world, around the world. So bye.
Bye, thank you.
Yeah.